Studio A at 1 Biloxi Square
My God.
in Fort Worth, Texas. This is the Grandpa and Pappy Show as we kick off another Monday together, and we hope all of you had a great weekend.
Yeah.
And you're back safe and sound with us, and all ready to face the week together.
Yeah. How was your weekend, compadre?
It was busy.
Yeah.
We did a little real estating, but other than that, got to see our daughter and our new grand dog, so to speak. The cutest little dog you ever saw.
Special K got a mark to prove it, too.
Yeah, and our granddaughter was dedicated into her church yesterday, which we were able to be a part of, and that was a lot of fun.
What a cutie pie she is.
She is. She's a doll.
Little sweetheart.
And you got Grandpa wrapped smooth around her fingers and knows how to use it.
You remembered to grab your wallet from her before you came home.
I left it in the car.
Smart grandma. I could see you've done this grandpa-dom stuff before.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got 5 of them.
Well,
anyway.
Happy Monday to you, each and every one. Welcome aboard. So glad to have you along.
If this is the first time that you have joined us for the Grandpa and Pappy Show, let us just tell you that your voice will never be silenced here on our program because our whole show is centered around what your opinion is.
Unless you act a fool.
Yeah, concerning the topic of the day.
Yeah.
And today we got a couple of good ones for you.
Yeah, we do.
Of course, a lot of the talk here lately, especially coming out late Thursday and Friday, was the House of Representatives has passed a bill to make Washington, D.C. a state. I don't think that's going to have much of a chance in the Senate, but they're going to try.
Well, while they're passing bills, why can't they just pass another one making Texas a country?
Yeah, I understand that. I really do better than you think.
Man,
And then we're going to wrap up today's show talking about your take on why you wanted to live back in 1970s again. It was some rather really comical things and some really good points. So we're
crickets.
looking forward to that
I hear
one.
crickets. You mean it's not the 70s still, man?
That is true.
Well, what a long, strange trip it's been.
But what was your take on the House of Representatives voting to make Washington, D.C. a state? What is your opinion on that?
I think it's a ploy. Just another part of their agenda to push everybody to the New World Order is what I think it is.
Yeah, trying to pick up 2 more Democratic seats.
Yeah.
So they can stack it in there and not ever relinquish power, I think is what it is. But there was some really, really good opinions voiced today by you, our viewers out there. So without further ado, let's just get back to it.
Let's dive in.
Chris Schomburg said it's another ploy by the Democratic Party to monopolize the political and create a one-party totalitarian government, just like you were saying, with no way to oppose them. Same reason for packing the court and opening the borders.
That is very well said, Chris. I agree wholeheartedly with you, man. Big Billy Bryan says this is nothing more than a huge power grab by the damn Democrats. They cried and cried about South Carolina trying to rig the game. Their hypocrisy knows no bounds. And Raj Nadkarni said, nope, most are not supposed to be permanent residents.
That's true, if you stop and think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, who would have known that you have some of these congressmen that have been there for 40 and 50 years, Joe Biden, and really not supposed to be there that long. But
that's true.
Bob Baker, our buddy out in West Texas, told us it was never the intent of the Founding Fathers that one state should rule over the rest of the states. That's why we have the Electoral College.
Which is rigged, too.
To make D.C. a state will be the final blow to crush the Constitution and end the great experiment. It is time for Texas to secede and become an independent republic again. Chris Schomburg came back to say, unfortunately, it looks as if things are headed in that direction.
It doesn't look. It is.
Boy.
That's where we're going right now.
Every day there's a new challenge. I mean, to the Constitution. I mean, there's a new challenge.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court, crickets coming out of the Supreme Court.
There you go.
Yeah.
John Bossy said no. It was designed to be the seat of government. The permanent residents vote in all elections. They have a member of Congress. They don't have senators, and that what the socialists want. 2 more senators, Brett Barker said no. I've been there. They have no resources, no landfills. They would ride our coattails, and it's 90% Democrat.
Mm-hmm. You're right, Brett. You're absolutely right.
Kind of skewy.
Yeah, it is. James Gordon White said Washington, D.C. has always been a district and not a state, so that our national capital city is not in any one state.
Yep.
Jim Krause also said no because it is just one more way the Democrats are trying to skew the I almost screwed that one up to skew the election votes, representatives in Washington, D.C., etc. So you got to be careful with some of these.
A skew/screw.
That's true.
Brent Hardy also said no. Its sole purpose is to be a neutral place, equally owned by all the states. Tim Randall said hell no. Our founding fathers were strictly against it being a state for one reason, being there were too many politicians and lawmakers that lived there. Eddie Dixon simply said, "Oh my God,
oh my God,
OMG,
OMG, darling." Yeah, our buddy down in Bio Country on south of Houston, Bill Thurst, said it's an absolute ridiculous notion. I can't imagine a more complex, corrupt, and dysfunctional arrangement. It is just wacky enough to happen nowadays, though. Would Joe automatically become governor, too?
Hell, that's in his backyard. Of course he would.
or Pelosi. Yeah.
They'd have a big old playground, wouldn't he? Ronnie Barnett told us no. The framers make it that way to have non-political place for the government to operate. The people that live there now knew how it was when they moved there. And if they don't like it, then they can leave.
Bye-bye. Yeah, later. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Christina Marie Cornstubble said that is a definite nope. It would be a shisty way of stacking the deck.
Yeah.
Might as well kiss what our founding fathers made goodbye. It is scary, but also a very plausible thing for today's bunch.
It blends right in, don't it, Christina?
Meaning, being right up there. Bunch of shysters.
I don't know if y'all have noticed or not online, but I was telling Grandpa a little earlier. I found me a new cap I'm thinking about ordering, but might have to change my will up prior to ordering it for obvious reasons. Says when I die, please don't let me vote Democrat. So I have to hide that under the front seat of my truck, I think.
Yeah, that might be a very smart move on your part.
I'm too young to die in a tragic
But stop
manner.
and think about that, though. I mean, really, Washington was set aside. It's up there. It kind of touches Virginia and Maryland.
Yeah.
And it wasn't meant to be a state. It should be free and independent of any state regulations, because that is the seat of federal government.
Well, that's how it was devised hundreds of years ago, for a reason.
Yeah.
You know?
Those guys were smart.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, our founding fathers were extremely smart. And they must have had a crystal ball, because they could probably see all this crap going on today and going, geez, we better put this in here.
A lot of prophecy in
the
work.
beginning. Yeah.
Marjorie Morris said the scheming of today's Democratic Party absolutely floors me, as it does us too.
Mm-hmm.
If they see a threat of any kind, they move to eliminate it. The scary thing is they have control of the House and Senate, although it will never pass the Senate because they would need a 3/4 majority to okay it, which the Republicans will never do. With the rampant dishonesty running amok with them today, they will continue to fight for it. It's just sickening.
Marjorie, I couldn't agree more with you. That's very, very well said.
Yep. I agree.
That just hits right to the heart of the situation.
That's right.
Right there. James H. Bass said it reeks of corruption. Patriots will not accept it.
Nope.
Big Matt Bannister said no because I said so.
Ooh.
And Skip Starkey and Ron Roberts agreed, saying no, it should not.
Well, Matt, get your butt up yonder northeast and
And
let
your
them know.
painted toenails. Yes.
Hey, don't make fun of his painted toenails. They're beautiful. obviously
you're sick. You know something? I saw him the other day. What's the first thing I did? I looked down at his feet. I'm just going, Jack, you are a sick puppy.
Made you look though, didn't it? Dale Coacher.
See what I have to put up with?
Closing this segment out. Last but not least, Dale Coacher Coacher, yeah, also said no. He says it would just be a state of corruption, just like it already is a district. I think we should all call it the District of Corruption.
I like that. That's a great play on words.
Oh, Dale put a lot of thought into
yes,
that,
he
didn't
did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, Special K, what is your thought on it? I mean, on Washington becoming a state. And they're going to try to bring in Puerto Rico, too.
Well, I think, they can try.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they will.
But I think that the Constitution, it's a constitutional change, and I don't think it can just be passed by legislature. I think it should be by the vote of the people. There's just some things that they are doing that should be the vote of the people, and not our senators, our representatives.
Well, what they're doing is planting a big old seed. Is what they're doing.
Well,
hoping it'll grow.
All of this is getting it to being what one of our viewers said was a totalitarian nation, a one-party rule.
Yeah.
And so, and my thought is, well, if you want that, go to California and live there. That'll work for you.
Go to China.
Or,
Go to England.
New York City. That'll work for you, too. Or Chicago. There you go. They're one they have one party.
Go to England where the rulers
or go to China, where you can be a communist.
China, Russia, all of
You
those.
know.
Yeah.
So, if you don't like it here, don't change what we got here. Go somewhere
Go
else.
somewhere and leave. There's a lot of people around the world that would give anything to be here.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't like it the way we're running things here and the way it's been running for over 200 years and being successful in the most productive nation in the world, then get out. We don't want you.
Hey, Pappy,
Yes, ma'am.
did you watch the Oscars last night?
Oh, I did. No.
No.
Said
I
JT.
really would like to see their ratings because it was primarily all political bull crap.
Oh, you ought to
Yeah.
hear what 92.5 Jim and Bob show had to say about it.
What'd they say?
Bo and Jim.
Bo and Jim.
What'd they say?
Well,
Is it? Can you repeat it?
Well, probably not. I sure laughed a lot on the way over here to the studio
I
today,
saw
though.
some extra. I totally turned the TV off. I'm like, why do we have to listen to these elites out there? And one of them talking about, she was worried about, it was a black African American woman, probably filthy rich, and she goes, I have to worry about my son. I'm like, well, he's probably behind a gated place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you go
And
home
there's a
and do
big
that?
mansion house out there. Oh, worry about him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's-
Well,
it's ridiculous.
it has gotten to a state where it just makes you shake your head. That's all you can do.
Yeah, just leave if you don't like it. And like I said, don't let the doorknob hit you where the good Lord split you, okay?
That's exactly correct.
Just carry your ass.
Well, there was a lot of comments on if Washington should become a state, and we'll keep an eye on that for you.
I'm sure we'll get
And
more.
report on that to you more coming up in the future.
Yeah.
We have an interesting subject coming up next in our next segment.
This is my favorite part of the show, man.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to dive into why we would like to live back into the 70s. Right after we take this brief time out, we'll be right back.
When selling your home, you could take all the photos yourself. But if you have a RE/MAX agent,
Guys, how are you?
they know a team of experts who will get the job done right.
All right, we are back.
Yeah, welcome back.
It is good to have all of you with us, and I've been looking forward to this next segment for a little while.
Yeah.
Now, let me just ask you. I mean, 1970s. What were they to you?
I hear crickets. Well, if I had to pinpoint one thing, it was freedom of expression and lots of concerts.
Lots of concerts.
Man, I went to. We were living in Houston, Lubbock, and then Houston for my senior year in high school, and we went to so many concerts back then, and they were like $2.50 a seat, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. Well, I remember the 1970s. I got into radio in very early 1971.
yeah.
And, boy, that was a great time to be in radio with the music that you got to play on the air and the free love, the band, the bras, the, the streaking.
We were standing in the White House Hotel, rented a room for this when the ERA first kicked off for the women.
Yeah.
And I have never seen such a tall pile of burning bras in my life. And puppies, too.
Yeah, I understand. I totally understand.
I still got those binoculars, by the way.
I got you. Well, let's see what you guys like, and we'll ask Special K about 1970s here in a little bit.
Was she born then?
Yeah, she was there.
Yeah.
She was there. She was the disco queen.
My God.
From what I hear.
Wearing them 6-foot platforms, I bet.
Yeah, probably so. Now, Grass said it was the music.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
believe you. We've been listening to 50 albums that turned 50 on Sirius XM radio for the past couple of hours.
Yeah.
I can't stop and go eat dinner until they reach number one. John Bossy said, I love XM radio. However, I do miss the days of long road trips and hunting for a station prior to the 8-track days. Not.
Hey, I had a 4-track Craig Power play
Get out.
in my 66 Mercury Comet Cyclone GT Mickey Thompson, by God, and it stayed cranked.
I heard that.
Yeah, fast cars too, man. I mean,
Yes,
I've
they
had
were.
I wished I had any one of the first 10 cars I owned. Jesus
I
Christ.
just wished I had one that I had in my lifetime.
In primo condition.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sam Holmes said it was a much freer time, cheap comedy tickets, and naturally beautiful, slim women.
Oh,
The
yeah.
food was better, bigger, and dinners at home were the norm. Family stuck together, we could just have a great time. That was the 70s and 80s too. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Skip Starkey said going through junior high and senior high school for me. James Graham said it was definitely the music.
Yep.
And Terry Crow said it was the freedom, family reunions, awesome concerts, and better cars.
Well said, Terry.
Chris Essery said it was the patches on her jeans. And Deborah Brousseau Folio said, my body didn't hurt all the time. Hey, I'm right there with you. I understand totally what you're talking about.
I was so numbed out back then. I didn't even know I had a body. Talking about patches on jeans,
Just
my
flying
mom
around all the time.
My mom was a hell of a seamstress. I mean, just as everybody on her side of the family was.
Yeah.
And she used to take my bell-bottom jeans, and she would slit them and take an old pair of jeans and cut a wedge out and make them bells about 25 inches big around. It was groovy, man. I could have sold them.
That got the look from Karen.
That just really gives me a bad visual with that.
Hey, there wasn't,
Oh,
no,
my
there wasn't
God.
no butt crack showing or nothing, man, because I had
Well,
my
it
shirt
was
tucked in.
hip huggers,
Yeah,
Yeah.
hip huggers. Yeah.
platform shoes.
I didn't wear
Little
those.
in the 70s. I fell off of them all the time and always killed my ankles. But when you're 4'11" and you want to be 5'5", you get those 4-inch platforms. And made you look tall. Oh man, they were hell on you. I'm telling you.
I don't know how you women wear those things, like stilettos
Really, it
and
made
tall
me
pla-
hurt.
And
Oh,
I was so
God.
little, I couldn't really buy store-bought clothing. My mom always had to make it. So
The children's department.
no, I couldn't even. Oh no,
They were too big too.
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
they
okay.
just no.
Just asking.
Didn't have the. They looked like little kids' clothes.
Asking for a friend.
And the go-go boots. I mean, the go-go boots were in style in hot pants.
Oh yeah.
Let's not forget those.
Oh,
Fish-
no,
fish-
I don't.
Yeah.
It is forever etched in my mind.
with fishnet hose too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
By God. Well
Let's
said.
see,
Kay
where are
Ward.
we at here? Michelle, I
Yeah,
think.
Michelle Purvis Brown told us it was the best time to be in high school. Music, friends, and nobody cared. Jim Krause said it was a music clothes, cheap concert tickets, easy loving, and affordable weed. Jason Terry, whoever that guy is,
Yeah.
said $10 lids. Yeah, he was overpaying.
Yeah.
He wasn't even born in the 70s.
Oh, man,
he was born in 74.
I had a
Jason
beautiful
was,
1970 Pontiac GTO 440.
Yeah.
White leather interior, automatic. Oh, man, beautiful.
Get back with
Custom
your bad
wheels,
self, man.
sparkle blue in color.
Yeah.
Man, that was my baby. Then what happened? I wind up getting married.
Did it have
And
tuck and roll interior?
10 days after I got married, it was totaled
Oh, boy.
by the ex.
Oh, boy, just like your life was. Huh?
Bam. I never forgot it.
The tuck and rolly interior, glass packs twice, and fender skirts, little dingle balls hanging
That's
on
it.
the roof, man.
Sherry Briggs Cohn said it was youth.
Yeah.
We didn't worry about our kids being kidnapped. Jamie Ward said from 71 to 79, it was the clothes.
Yeah.
Jerry Blum said it was a hell of a lot better time period. And Darlita McCauley Holland says, I suppose it was the music.
Yeah, and going back to those $10 lids, you never spent $10 on a bag of weed in your life, boy. You kept stealing mine. He figured out the combination of my safe, little fart.
If he was born in 74, he was only like 4 or 5.
Real.
He wouldn't be.
I started when I was 2.5.
There you go.
Sherry Briggs Cohn said it was
No,
youth.
we just read that one.
Oh, well, okay. Well, she's youthful.
Yes.
Rudy Torres said not waking up in the morning and watching the news and not having telephone.
Bingo.
We actually drove to our friends' houses to see what we could get into, and definitely it was the music. Ronnie Barnett said it was the cars back then.
And it was.
I agree,
A lot
yeah.
of it. Jimmy Moore said it was about the music swings.
Yeah.
First, there was a carryover of 60s rock and roll. Then disco hit the scene for a few years. Then urban cowboy comes along, and all of a sudden, it was country music. All in all, it was an ass-kicking decade where things were much simpler and less complex than today.
Yeah.
It would be nice to be able to go back there again. Maybe I wouldn't make so many screw-ups.
Looking for noob in the wrong places.
Yeah, that's
you know,
it.
I was an ex of mine and I was front and center out at Gillies for a couple of days while I was filming Urban Cowboy. Yeah. Penny Steele said it was freedom, going to school, driving your friends around, listening to amazing music, and not a care in the world. But the best part is my mom and dad were still here. And Shirley Mills said everything.
Here,
Yeah.
Penny.
Yeah.
My mom and dad were still here at that time, too.
Yeah, same here.
Love to go back just to see him.
Yeah.
Nona McDonald said all of them. Hippie days, hip huggers, short shorts, bell-bottom pants, driving cool cars on the main drag. We did not lock our doors, and rock and roll concerts. Happy memories back in the 70s. It was so cool. Everything.
Everything
Yes,
is
sir.
groovy. Joe Mosier down south in Houston said we didn't have the idiots in government that we have this day and time. that's a fact, Joe Mo. John Bossy said, Joe, we had Jimmy Carter. We thought we'd never have another as bad, but Biden says, hold my beer. The 70s, a 28-inch waist, 48-inch chest, and so much hair that my dad was always on me to get it cut. I could jump off the roof, hit and roll, and never give it a second thought. Work 12, go party 6, and get up and go again. We were bulletproof and thought we knew everything. We didn't have a clue.
Ain't that so, John?
Ain't it so? That's a fact.
Tony Malone told John Bossy that the older I get, the less I know.
Yeah.
Amazing how that works. Chad Brooks told us I was young, no internet, and cell phones, and life was simple. You were who you were, not trying to impress anyone. And Julie Wooten Rand said it was the music for sure.
There you go, boy. Nothing like the music. I still listen to all that stuff, too.
Hello, Julie.
Randy Petrucelli said, I really don't remember much about the 70s. We must have hung out together.
You got to keep reading.
I was just a kid, but I do remember the Volkswagen, the bell bottoms, and those wedge shoes with the clog and high heels. Yeah, that was pretty cool, and the music too. Bruce Harris said it was the freedom, and Lynn Roten says it was the good times.
And it really was.
Yeah.
Mark Randall said the muscle cars were still around then, and it was cool to either ride in one or simply just look at them and drool.
Yeah.
Also remember the disco dancing in the clubs with some of the most beautiful women in short skirts sliding gracefully around the dance floor. I tell you, it was sometimes more than a young man could handle. Ain't it so?
And
that's a damn truth.
I have never in my life been a fan of disco, but first time I drove by a place, God, I can't even remember the name of it. It's over on Pondering off of Westheimer.
Yeah.
And saw the line out front, waiting for the door open. I thought, by God.
Back in the days of Studio 54 up in New York.
Oh, Lord, man. Yeah. I started doing disco then.
There you go.
Where are we?
Scott.
Scott Dacre said it was a sense of closeness, of community, of oneness, and the national pride of living in the greatest country on the planet.
Bingo.
Amen. Brad Taylor said, I remember celebrating in my family when Vietnam War come to a close. Our veterans were not treated with respect when they came back, but they're revered today. I'm sorry. I also remember some damn good music from then, too.
And there was.
By God, Scott.
And we salute all of our Vietnam veterans out there. We love you guys, and thank you for all you did.
All of our soldiers and service hands. Thank you.
Especially Vietnam.
Thank you for your services.
Sam Halstead said for him it was just simple. Those good-looking ladies.
By God.
He didn't mince words, did he?
I married a couple of 3 or 5 of them.
Hey, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we'll try to do something.
But I kind of agree with you, Grandpa. If I think the most important thing that comes to mind about that era, if I could go back, would be to hug Mom and Dad.
Oh, absolutely.
And my 2 elder brothers,
I lost my mom in 83, my dad in 88.
Yeah.
But, boy, during the 70s, I mean, we had more fun when we'd all go back to Mom and Dad's, and God, we just had the most fun.
Oh, man.
Picking and grinning, doing a little country music. Yeah. Dad on the fiddle, me on the guitar.
Yeah,
my brother picked his nose, and, we went from there. It was a lot of fun. Let's take a look at some of the viewer comments we got in. Paul Reed said our show on reaction to the George Floyd case was interesting. There are some good points brought up by your audience. Most accepted that the officer got what he deserved, although I now believe the jury were frightened into a decision.
I think that was a big part of it.
I do too.
Moshe Harris said our show on the shooting of the 13-year-old was good. I do believe people react too quickly on something like that before they know all the facts in the case. And you're absolutely right about that, Moshe. Besides, what mom would let her 13-year-old out at that time of night with a gun?
Good question.
She probably didn't even know he was gone. She probably wasn't even home.
Show me a mom that's worth their salt. I'm telling you, they know where their babies are.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they know where the chicks are.
They know where that flip-flop and belt and wooden spoon is,
That's
too.
Exactly right. Blaine Thompson said on YouTube, the show on the Supreme Court made him angry. Your questions were solid, and the opinions really got me to thinking what it is that they're really doing up there.
Yeah?
Nothing.
Not a damn thing.
His words are not mine.
Screwing everything up. And last but not least, to close the show out, Peter Richardson says, I watched your show on 4 years of Biden on your Facebook page. The points brought up during that show was enough to make any American sick to their stomach. My answer? No. We can't survive it.
Well, we'll see.
We can, but we probably won't like what
It'll
what
take
we're
forever
going through
to
get
straighten
there.
out all their screw-ups, I'll tell you that for sure.
Thanks for sending that in, Peter.
Absolutely. Hey, if you have an idea or a comment that you want to make on the question of the day, it's very simple. Over my shoulder here, you can either go to our email account at grandpaandpappy@gmail.com or
you can simply hit us up on our show website page, which can be found by keying in www.grandpaandthelletternpappy.com. That's www.grandpaandpappy.com, where you'll see this big old red button.
Bam.
Push it. devise an easy-to-remember password, subscribe. We're numbers-driven, and we'd love having you on board.
Absolutely free of charge.
And while you're there, I mean, you have access to the Facebook page.
Yeah, and you can go on there and see most of the opinions.
Twitter,
that,
Instagram.
make the show. Yeah. Or you can make a suggestion for a topic there, too.
Yeah, and we're YouTube-driven, so there you also have the opportunity to leave comments, complaints, show topics, whatever you want to say. We read them all, whether we like them or not.
That is true. That is true. It's been... I'm sorry, go ahead.
And we can't encourage you enough. Send us a show topic. We love that.
Absolutely.
We love it. I mean, it's your show. Send us something. We just put it on for you. So.
Yeah, we just show up and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, let's crank our butt.
Anyway, it's been fun. Thank you very much for joining us. We always close out our show by telling you to reach out and hug your kids and let them know you love them.
Absolutely. Let them know that the Grandpa and Pappy Show loves them too, by God.
Until we see you next time.
Take care of one another.
Absolutely. Be safe. God bless you. God bless America. And until we see you again, take care and be safe.
See you Friday.
Bye-bye.